Howdy folks, I'm Yeoman Abitrium, youthfully yanking yodeling yogurt.
I'm Amber.
And here are even more yodeling yogurts for us to yank. I don't know how yogurt yodels. You'll have to ask Amber about that.
It's like a singing yogurt container. There's a little button and you press it and it yodels.
Right. Let's get started. Alright folks, our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not giving my husband food if it was made with a blender that he was mad about me buying? I bought myself a nice blender. I work part-time at home and also watch young kids that are too young for preschool. Due to me staying home, I cook a lot, which I enjoy, so it's not that big of a deal. Now the issue is that he is mad about how much the blender was. It's $125. This annoyed me greatly since I use my fun money for it and it's a household tool even if he won't use it. I thought that we were over it, but I pulled it out again to make a smoothie and he made more comments about a waste of money and a stupid buy. I had a conversation with him about the whole situation again. He made more comments next time I took it out, and I had enough. Now, every time I make something using the blender, I don't give him any of it. It came to a head today when I made some soup, and I used the blender. I told him that I used the stupid blender to make it, so he can't have any, and he needs to make his own food. This caused a huge argument, and he thinks that I'm a petty jerk. But I have told him so many times not to call my purchase a waste. Am I the jerk for taking it so far? This post made me start really thinking about my marriage. I'm asking for couples counseling, and if things don't change, I'll be done. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
No, I don't think OP's being a jerk. If it's such a useless item, then he shouldn't care that he's not, he shouldn't have a use for it. He shouldn't care he's not being fed from it.
Yeah, I feel bad for OP because they shouldn't have had to take this out of their fun money to begin with. If this is a tool that will make their life easier, that's something that benefits the whole household. And generally the way I look at fun money is that if it's for the whole household and if it benefits the whole household, then it's something that you kind of budget for and then buy out of the household budget.
Yeah, well, exactly. And like fun money in my mind is just like the little extras and not like home appliances that you're going to use on a regular basis for your cooking.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that OP's in the wrong here. I think that her husband is really acting petty here.
Yeah, well, it's really kind of awful the way he's trying to police how she spends her fun money. Like, the point of fun money is that it's supposed to be something that you don't have to necessarily get your partner's consent for, because it's just kind of like whatever money, like we can lose this, and she could have spent it on like pens, like just bought like $125 worth of pens or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so the scenario that I'm kind of imagining here, and this is again wild speculation, is that she was like, oh, honey, let's buy this blender. It'll make cooking easy. And he said, no, I don't want to buy a stupid blender. And then she went, well, I'm going to use my fun money to buy a stupid blender anyways. And then she did, and now he's just petty and resentful over the fact that she went above him and bought it.
I mean, that could be it. Also, in the comments, she mentions that he's really bad at saving money. And so he may just be jealous that she can save $125, because it sounds like anytime he gets his fun money, he blows through it instantaneously.
Yeah, they get like, according to the comments, like $200 a week or something like that in fun money.
Yeah, I wish I had that kind of fun money.
Or was it a month? I don't remember if it was a month or a week. No, I think it was like $200 a week.
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember.
It's a huge amount of money. So the guy complaining about her spending under $200 for a blender. I don't know how you spend $800 a month on your fun money, right? That's a lot of money to burn through in a month. Just learn how to budget. Don't splurge. Don't blow it all in one place. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my wife buying me beer would have had the same effect as buying herself makeup? Yes. I don't know how many different ways we can say this, but you are a jerk. My wife and I went shopping. She said that she spent $70 on makeup. I told her that she should have just bought me some beer instead, and it would have had the same effect. She got mad and said it was a mean thing to say. I told her I was just joking. I told her that I saw a video online and I was just joking, but she was still mad. Am I a jerk for making a joke? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk for making a joke? Ha ha, I'm laughing.
Yeah, I think OP's definitely being a jerk here. First of all, he's insinuating that she only wears makeup for him,
Yeah.
which is like just such a terrible take and probably not the truth. And secondly, that he needs to be intoxicated to enjoy her appearance more. Like,
Yeah, there's nothing funny about this at all. And I think that maybe he was just exercising poor judgment in the moment when he said this, but this is, like Amber said, the insinuations here, isn't a good interpretation. There's not really a charitable interpretation. And that's really what it boils down to. And I'm sure that she likes to use makeup just on a regular daily basis, and it doesn't really, it's not necessarily for him. It's because she enjoys seeing herself made up.
yeah, like a lot of people just enjoy the process of putting on makeup. They enjoy trying out different aesthetics. Like there's all kinds of reasons why people wear makeup. They like the compliments they get from other women because honestly, other people who use makeup are more likely to notice than like people who don't wear makeup.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my wife that she has to stay home to watch the kids until she replaces the nanny that she fired because I work from home? My wife Danielle, 33, has a job that requires her to go into the office every day. I am a 42-year-old and I work from my home office. We have 2 children, 2 and 4. We had a nanny, Esme, who we hired after we moved into the city for my wife's job. We do not have a family in the city. Esme was with us since we got here 6 months ago. She was excellent at her job, and she was a pleasant person in general. Danielle got it into her head that Esme was going to try and get me away from her. She fired her. It was a ridiculous assertion. I love my wife, but she insisted. She then proceeded to put a kibosh on any nanny that the agency sent, even the male ones, because she thought it was weird to have a male nanny. She wants me to watch the kids since I'm home anyways. I said that there was no way that was going to happen. I bring home 65% of our income. I cannot watch the kids and work. I have dealt with this temporarily by inviting my parents to stay with us so they can watch the kids. Danielle hates this. She likes my folks, but she doesn't like having them here 100% of the time. However, neither her mom or her dad are able to help. I told her that if she wants my parents to go home, then she either has to replace our nanny or she has to stay home and watch the kids. She says that I'm a jerk for devaluating her work and expecting her to watch the kids because she's a woman and I'm not. I think that she created the situation and it's her responsibility to deal with it. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
No, I don't think OP's the jerk here. I mean, this isn't about her being a woman. This is about her creating a situation that makes it impossible for him to get his work done. Like, he isn't the one who fired the nanny and was like, okay, now you have to stay home.
Yeah.
It was literally the other way around. And he's right. Like, watching a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old is full-time work. You can't run a job very well, most jobs, and watch 2 little kids.
Well, I like how she's asserting that he's trying to devalue her job while simultaneously doing the exact same thing, right? And I understand her frustration because she, of course, wants to work, but he also wants to work, and he's also bringing home a substantial portion of their income.
Right, and there's no good reason for her to keep turning down all the nannies. Like, oh, it's so weird to have a male nanny, but my husband, who's also a dude, can watch the kids. Like, why is one of those situations so weird?
Well, do you think that she's trying to force his hand in order to, like, be a stay-at-home parent or something like that?
That's the only thing I can figure. Like, it seems really, like, she's gotten really insecure because they had this nanny, and she was sure that he was going to cheat on her with the nanny. I don't even know, but yeah, it could be that she's trying to force his hand, or it could be some really weird insecurities that she needs some therapy for.
Yeah, well, therapy was what I was thinking. I think that she needs to go and see a counselor and kind of work through these jealousy issues. I would, if I were OP, look for some other red flags in the relationship, because this is a pretty big red flag to be this controlling. And the fact that she refuses to compromise at all isn't a good sign.
Right. I mean, literally no solution works. It seems like the only thing is you have to stay home with the kids when that's not a viable solution.
Yeah. So I feel bad for OP in this situation, but I think that he's made a really good call here. Like, as long as his parents are willing to take care of the kids, that seems like a really reasonable approach to this situation. And I understand her not wanting to share the house, but they don't have much of a choice, right?
Again, she made the situation, like, she has options. She can find a new nanny, or she can stay home with the kids, but, like, she's got to do something.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Married Life 7 says, is daycare not an option in your area? And OP replies, we are on a wait list. And Itchy Tangerine 2441 says, women work from home with kids all the time. There is not a reason why you can't. Is this an issue now, since you are a male that have to figure it out or how to do it? Why wasn't there an issue when a woman has to do it? And OP replies, I'm sorry, I don't remember writing that I expected her to work from home and watch the kids. I mean, I think that this is an important thing, is that this person does bring up a good point that a lot of women are expected to work from home and take care of the children too in some of these posts that we've read.
Right, but that should never be the expectation. Like, the problem is work from home jobs are as intensive most of the time as in-person jobs.
Yeah.
Like, and of course there's variances between jobs and whatnot, but we need to stop treating work from home jobs like they are so much easier and so much more flexible, because in a lot of cases they aren't.
Well, and I also think that it devalues what a stay-at-home mom does in a lot of ways, to say, well, you can also work and you can also do this other job and you can devote all of your attention to it.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, is you can't devote your full attention to either if you're trying to juggle both. And when people are doing both, a lot of times it's not because they want to, but because there's no other option.
Yeah. And then also they'll do something like they'll take care of the kids in the daytime, and then when their spouse comes home, they'll work in the evenings. And that's also not necessarily a great way of doing things, but it makes things work. So I think that this person isn't necessarily, I think they kind of missed the point of this. I don't think that anyone should be forced to do this. And it's nice that OP and his wife have the ability and means to not have to do this. And Prize Diamond 7874 says, Danielle is manipulating the situation to allow her to quit the job while blaming others, the nanny, the stubborn husband, annoying in-laws, and get to be the martyr who has to give up her career. She needs to put her big girl pants on and have an honest conversation with her husband about what's going on. Good luck, and don't agree with anything you cannot live with for the rest of your lives. Not the jerk. And OP replies, I would be okay with her choosing not to work. We can live comfortably off my income, but not hers. It's really odd, though, because didn't they say that they moved to this area, this new city, for their wife's work? It seems like it would be a waste to have her come home, work, and not work at all, right?
Right. If anything, it seems like it's the other way around. Like, she's trying to pressure OP into taking care of the kids.
Yeah. Or even him taking a part-time job, or, sacrifice his career for taking care of the kids. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Forgetting to Water My Wife's Plants? My wife went to visit her sister 2 weeks ago and left me in charge of taking care of her plants. She has a bunch of potted flowers, succulents, and cacti on the balcony and in the backyard. She is very attached to them and calls them her babies. I'm not a big fan of plants, but I promised her that I would water them every day. However, I got distracted with work and other things and completely forgot about the plants. When she returned home yesterday, she was horrified to see some of them wilted, dried out, or dead. She got furious at me and accused me of being irresponsible, careless, and insensitive. She said that I don't respect her hobby and that I don't care about her feelings. She said that the plants were important to her and I should have been more attentive. I apologized and I tried to explain that it was an honest mistake, but she didn't listen. She's been giving me the silent treatment since then and refuses to speak to me. She said that she'll continue to do so until I make things right. I think that she's overreacting and being dramatic. The plants are cheap and easily replaceable. She can just buy others just like them, or even better ones, at the gardening store. I don't understand why she's so upset over something so trivial. I know that I messed up by forgetting to water the plants, but I didn't do it on purpose. They're just plants, not people. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yeah, I think Opie's a huge jerk here. He is being incredibly dismissive. Like, it's not about what the plants mean to him. It's about what they mean to his wife. They mean a lot more to her. And by doing this, he's showing that he has so little concern for his wife. Like, it's not just a matter of he forgot to water plants. It's that he promised her he was going to take care of something that's very important to her.
Yeah.
And couldn't be bothered to check on these plants once in the entire 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand forgetting things, but that's what alarms are for, right? Everyone nowadays has a phone in their pocket that has a calendar with reminders and notifications. And if you have a hard time remembering things like this, then just set a notification or a reminder. And I think that could have gone a long way towards showing her that you actually cared about her and her hobbies.
And I like how it sounds like he's expecting her to pay for the new plants, even though he's the one who killed them.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, she can just buy even better ones at the garden store. And it's like, dude, you should be replacing the plants you killed.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what she's saying here is that she wants OP to make this right by going out and getting replacements for her plants. And again, like, people become sentimental and attached to certain things. And she was attached to those particular plants. So I think that it's really important to understand the sentimental and emotional connection that your wife had to these plants, that she called her babies, for instance.
Yeah, well, and also there's nothing wrong with having sentimental attachments to plants. Like, we've had plants, and, you know, I love our plants. They're great. I get very sad when they die, which is often.
Not that often anymore.
Not anymore.
We don't have enough plants to kill anymore. Well, okay, some of them weren't our faults, right? Like, some of them died from natural age.
Yeah. He's just so dismissive. She's absolutely right. Like, nothing she said is wrong. He is incredibly dismissive of her feelings. He doesn't want to accept that even though plants aren't important to him, they can be very important, deeply important to her.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that OP's in the wrong in this situation, and I hope that he goes out and does make things right, because I think that would be a really nice gesture. So he should remember what plants she has and fix this situation. And then maybe even water them for a week for her. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Outrageous Penguin says, you're the jerk. She asked you for one favor while she's away, and it slips your mind. Not just once or twice, but for a whole 2 weeks. It's not about the plants, although those do matter and are not just simply replaceable. It's about how your wife is so utterly unimportant to you that you can't spare a single cell of your brain to do something small to help her. And there's no doubt in my mind that this is not the first time that you've demonstrated this. I'm also unsure about if this is a fake post, because cacti and succulents don't need to be watered every day. Or if you also didn't pay attention to the specific instructions that she gave about which plants to water, and you had to remember, but you would have murdered the succulents with overwatering. Yeah, I was actually wondering about the succulents as well, because those are pretty hardy plants for 2 weeks. But a lot of other plants do kind of need water, so it would really depend on the plant. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Was the Frankenstein monster a hit?
I can tell you exactly if the Frankenstein monster was a hit or not, and I will do so by reading my tea. Ask again later. Maybe.
Yes, he was a staggering success.
A staggering success. And I have Mega Mint. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Saturday, Friday. It's Friday. I was like, wait a second, is it Saturday? No, it's not, Brian. I hope that you made it through your week with less confusion than I did. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it in the form of an infomercial for our blender.
And this blender here has 5 different speeds, but the best thing is that if your husband is being a jerk and saying that you don't need it, you can use those 5 different speeds to make all kinds of awesome foods and not share them with him.
I was really glad that went the route that it went. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.